What's up guys, Static here and welcome back to Black Aperture for another episode of Spawn Point. We're going to start today's episode off a little bit differently today. I'm going to start by showing you a couple of additions that I've made to our spawning labs in here, so let's go and check them out. Now, as you'll see, the entire area is pitch black at the moment. It used to be that we couldn't control the lights in the observation area, but I decided to add in a control for that. Wasn't really necessary, but I wanted the challenge and I wanted that little bit of extra control. So I've also wired them up specifically so that when I flick them on, instead of all of them turning on straight away, you'll notice that the light travels around in a circle. I mean, just a little thing, but one of those things that I just absolutely love. And also, due to popular demand, I've updated the lighting in the spawning area to use the new lamps. Now, although this is probably a better way to light the facility, I'm not quite as proud of this setup as I was my old one. So we come up here to check out the lighting. As you'll see, here it's very neat, very organized, very simple, extremely simple. And all I need to do, what I've done here is the T flip-flops we've got over here, so one of them for each of the lighting systems. So we've got one T flip-flop here and one here, and then of course the line for the doors over this way, and then just had to connect it all up. Very simple. As you'll see in this little clip here, the wiring used to be much more complex. I've had a lot of requests from people to show how I did the lighting in the spawning area, so there we go. It's basically just a bunch of block swappers, the old design, which were used to swap around glowstone in the roof with iron blocks. Now, I've also been asked to do a tutorial on how to make that block swapper. Now, there is tutorials out there, but, you know, I am in the mood to make a tutorial, so I might do that in the next day or so. One thing that is cool about doing the lighting this way, though, is that you'll see a bunch of redstone lamps around the area. That's because even though I've got the room down the bottom lit, the room up here is quite large and gets quite dark, and I had the occasional issue with a mob spawning up here and thus lowering the spawning rates down in the testing area. And so I've got these redstone lamps here hooked up around the place in such a way that they're powered using the same power as the switchable lights down below, but they always stay on so that this area up here is continuously lit. Now, it's quite fitting that in today's episode we've been talking about the lighting of Black Aperture, since after the upside down half slabs and stairs test, one of the most highly requested tests was to test the new redstone lamps. So again, although they're not up on the testing wall, that's what we'll be testing today. Now, there's plenty of reasons why people might want to see these redstone lamps tested. One of them is possibly that every other light source in the game is counted as a transparent block, and generally mobs aren't able to spawn on top of transparent blocks. The redstone lamps occasionally are treated as solid blocks, in that redstone can pass through them. So people seem to be curious as to whether the redstone lamps will be treated as solid blocks or transparent blocks when it comes to spawning. So now I'm not entirely sure if that's the case, but that's my my understanding as to why people wanted to see this tested. But nevertheless, let's flick off the lights and get the test underway. Very quick, you see a bunch of spawns all around the pads. So I think we can safely conclude from this that mobs are indeed able to spawn on top of the redstone lamps. That means that even though these give off light, they are solid blocks. So the results of this test are actually quite exciting. The fact that mobs are able to spawn on top of the redstone lamps when they're turned off, but that the lamps emit a light level of 15 when they are turned on, that means that you'd be able to put these in your spawning system, and mobs would be able to spawn on them no problem. They wouldn't cut down the spawning rate at all, yet when you flick them on, you'd turn mobs off completely. So these are a good way of turning your mob system on and off. It'll be interesting to see whether slimes can spawn on them when they're lit up though. And so that means that we can put the redstone lamps in their off state into the spawnable box here, along with our double half slabs, wood, mushroom, pressure plates, netherrack, fence gates, furnaces, and crafting tables. And yes, that's right, spawnable box this time, guys. Anyway, if you enjoyed today's video, please do leave a thumbs up. It does help quite a bit. And if there's a block up on the wall that you'd like to see tested, by all means let me know in the comments section down below, and if it gets enough interest, we'll be testing that in the next episode. Hope you enjoyed today's episode, guys, and I will see you next time.